TrendResearch.com. That's right. Go to your Trends Monthly, and you're going to see the top 10 trends for 2017. That's right. Playing that trump card to reefer money madness. It's a new world order or disorder. A little bit of both. This is a big year. A lot's going on. A lot of changes. And a lot of it for the good. And, as life has it, some not so good. So the goods are, make it new. Yeah. That's right. It's an open book, an open season. Again, you're going to read something here you won't find anywhere else. Economic disorder. That's right. The market's doing great in the USA, and we think it's going to continue to do pretty well. Some things aren't, though. You'll find out the winners and the losers in the top 10 trends for 2017. And, hey, how about making America great again? How about all those movements going on around Europe where they want to bring back the old and retrofit it for the new? True nostalgia goes way beyond politics, and for them millennials, it goes beyond them Edison bulbs. True nostalgia, read all about it, the top 10 trends for 2017. Hey, how about that fake news? And how about those mainstream news broadcasters and newspapers missing it with Trump and missing just about every trend that could hit you between the eyes or in back of the head? They never see it coming. R.I.P., rest in peace, Fourth Estate. That's right. The old press and old media is dying. Some of it's going to get buried very shortly. Others may make it, but there's something new coming about. So, in this Trends Journal, you're going to find that. Hey, you know who else lost the election to Trump? Not only Hillary Clinton and Obama and Hollywood. Silicon Valley, that's right. The Zuckerbergs, the Schmidts, the Googles and the Facebooks. That's right, they all lost, one after another. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars given to the Clinton campaign. It's a bigger story than the election. It's Silicon Valley, Rust Belt 2.0. It's coming. And VRED, VR-ED, virtual reality education. The old system is dead and dying. Forget those video games. Oh, they're just the beginning. We're going to go into a virtual reality education world that's going to change what education looks like. And to cash in on all of these trends, and some of them and others coming down the line and around the corner, you're going to want to be an on-trendpreneur. And we're going to show you how to do it. How to identify those high potential opportunities in this rapidly shifting world. And as the big gets bigger, you're going to leave a lot of room to pick up the slack. We'll talk about what it is when you look at them in your Trends Monthly. So just log on. They'll be mailed to you tomorrow. But for those of you that are watching Trends in the News tonight, you don't have to check your email. You could go right there at Trends Monthly and check them out. What else? Wow. Hey, can you loan me some money? No, you can't. No more cash. That's right. And it's the cashless revolution, man. What's going on in India? It's already happened in Sweden. Take a trip to Denmark. One after another. Cashless society. But there's going to be a lot of people cashing in on this cashless society. A lot of businesses. And by the way, that's why we work with Agora Financial. We'll show you the trends. What they do is they show you the stock market opportunities. We don't give investment advice. They do. We provide the trends, where they're going, what direction, and they'll tell you what companies to look at. Sell and buy China, a big trend. Oh, we talk about it all the time on Trends in the News. Things are getting a little tougher over there to do business. And, of course, now we have all this trade talk going on about putting tariffs on China, even up to 45%. Well, that's okay, because it's 1.3 3.5 billion people. Here in the USSA, we're only 320 million. So we don't even get that 0.35. There's a lot of business to do there and a lot of business to do with them over here. And you read your trends monthly and you'll find out where to look and what's popping and what's hot. And then finally, that cat is high. That's right, we got 28 states now in the United States and also up in Canada passing more and more legalization of marijuana. Yep. Where is there going to be the opportunities? Again, we'll tell you where the big ones are. And in Agora, they'll tell you what companies to look at. But that's the way we look at it. And it's going to go way beyond just getting high and fixing those medical maladies. Yep. Cultivation, production, and where it's going to go into other food lines and drinks. A big trend. You're not going to want to miss it, or all the other ones of the top 10 trends for 2017. And now on to the markets. Everything is up, except Shanghai was a little down, and gold's a little down, and oil is down. How could oil be down? Don't understand it. Woo-wee. How can we figure it out? Remember we told you in Trends in the News they would cut a deal. We said it would drive up the prices. And now those prices are coming down. We got crude and West Texas down over 2% each. So oil prices slipped on Tuesday as crude output rose in virtually every major export region, despite plans by OPEC and Russia to cut production, triggering fears that a fuel glut that has dogged markets for more than 2 years might last well into 2017. Russia reported average output production in November of 11.21 million barrels per day, its highest in nearly 30 years. And you just keep going on and on with this. As the oil prices go up, all these countries that are non-OPEC members are going to produce more. So we stick by our forecast. Oil, 40 to 60. 60 to top, and it could go below 40. Again, they're talking the market up, but the real numbers show the market's going to go down, we believe, on oversupply. So, U.S. equities rose on Tuesday as post-election rally continued. The Dow was up over 35 points to post a record closing high. One after another. And the numbers are better. Not only in the equities, but what's also pushing it up besides the Trump rally. The Fed is going to raise interest rates, as we know. That's a 95% bet, according to the futures markets. And they'll probably go up about 25 basis points. And on Thursday, the ECB meets, and they're going to decide whether or not to keep that quantitative easing scam going. You know, that 80 billion euros a month deal that they have where they buy corporate and government bonds. So they'll keep that stimulus hot. So, when you look at some of the data, as I said, there's positive economic data. Third quarter U.S. productivity rose at an annualized rate of 3.1%. But the trade deficit widened to $42.6 billion. October factory orders rose 2.7%. And that was above estimate. They're looking for 2.6%. Let's go back to U.S. trade deficit widened. Guess what? It's going to widen again and again and again. As the dollar gets stronger, global demand is not that hot. There's going to be a lot more problems when that dollar goes up and all those emerging markets have to pay the tens of trillions of dollars of debt that was taken in. as their currencies get cheaper. So again, yes, there's positive data. And yes, there's a lot of positive things happening for the United States. But it's a global marketplace. Some new trends developing, very important. Social media advertising spend set to overtake newspapers by 2020. That's right. They're going to spend more on social advertising than they are in spending it on advertising in newspapers. Go back to one of your top trends for 2017. RIP, Fourth Estate. That's right. And the newspapers were the leaders of that, to keep in check the government and other people out there trying to do dirty deals, so you can see where the money's flowing. And it's also going to begin to flow out of the mainstream media. Not at the rate, but continue to decline in profits. Again, with no real quantifiable data on how effective it is to advertise on social media. Hey, remember those numbers that came out? Yeah, they weren't as good as they said on Facebook, were they? Nah, only off by about 50%. Then I think another time 80%. As we're looking at what's going on around the world, and we see a headline like this, globalization on the skids, and in Italy, a fresh sign of European dysfunction, you can see how a prostitutes like the New York Times really make it a story as though it's dysfunction. Let's see, who wrote this? Peter S. Goodman. Yeah, Goodman, but not that good in breaking it apart, but very good with these kind of headlines that are imbecilic. It is not European dysfunction, Mr. Goodman. It's a bunch of low-life scum politicians that are bought out by the globalists that the people are disgusted with. Could you figure that out? It's not dysfunction. It's tired of getting screwed over by the elites. It's tired of getting screwed over by little people like you that keep selling propaganda. Mr. Goodman, the dysfunction is in the New York Times and in your little brain, my boy. Monto de Pesci warned to brace for state bailout after Renzi defeat. Dysfunction? How about high crimes and misdemeanor, Mr. Goodman? How about the banks robbing the people blind and the government stealing their money to keep them going, Mr. Goodman? Could you figure that one out? No. So, let's look on to some other trends here in the States. Mr. Goodman, talking about dysfunction that you don't cover in your toilet paper rag. House passes massive $611 billion new military spending bill, and then break it apart. And see how the military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, the sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. Oh, Mr. Goodman, you probably never heard of Dwight D. Eisenhower because you little scum didn't even write about the death of Kennedy on November 22nd. Just slipped by you, huh? Maybe some newsroom dysfunction. One after another. Pentagon suppressed study that revealed $125 billion in waste. How come that's not on a front page, Goodman? Because you're no damn good. Maybe that's why. You're a member of the dying Fourth Estate. You killed it. You little cheap propagandists. And that's why you didn't see the election coming, and you're blind to the future, but not the subscribers to the Trends Journal. That's right. Go to your Trends Monthly and read history.